Breaking news now, just moments ago, making it official, the Secret Service has confirmed that its investigation into who took cocaine into the White House is closed.
Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. In today's episode, we're covering a variety of hot button issues with you, from updates regarding the cocaine that was found in the White House, and it also turns out that is not the only drug that has been found in the White House under the Biden administration. We also have Matt Gaetz going up against FBI Director Christopher Wray. Wait till we get into that one. And Joe Biden supposedly been on vacation for at least 40% of his presidency. Folks, we got a lot to jump into today. Before we get into any of it, though, support a true American patriot by hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave us a short, sweet comment down below. The question of the day is, do you think the FBI should be dissolved? Let us know in the comment section below. And also, head over to any of the links in the description section and get yourself a copy of our book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. Folks, you're seeing what they're doing in real time with the Democrats and progressive left and the ideology that they're pushing in all facets of American society. Get yourself a copy today. And also, head over to baldbrad.com and get yourself some merchandise. We got t-shirts, folks. Normally, I'm wearing this bad boy, but I want to show you what the back looks like. This is our custom shirt. But you can also get shirts with just our logo on the front, folks. All sorts of merchandise there. You can also get a Bald Brad Show mug with our logo on the front and the American flag on the back, folks. You're never going to feel more patriotic than drinking out of this bad boy each and every day with us. And lastly, most importantly, hit that join tab. We got an awesome community here of Republicans, conservatives, and possibly some independents that join us each and every live stream, folks, in the live chat or the comment section. They would love to have you be a part of our community. I would love to have you be a part of our community. We got one of the best on YouTube, if not the best. Hit that join tab, become a member today. Well, folks, a lot to get into today. A lot of different articles, a lot of different headlines. We're going to kick it off here because this was breaking news right when we first started recording here, where another cover-up has happened. I mean, how many cover-ups do we need from this administration? We knew it would happen. The Secret Service closes the White House cocaine probe with no answers. Did we not call it? Did you not all call it in the comment sections? We asked you to comment it on a previous video when we covered this story, and now it's actually happening. The Secret Service has concluded its investigation into the cocaine found at the White House without identifying a suspect, prompting skeptical lawmakers to cry cover up. Oh, yeah, you don't even have suspects? What? With all the cameras and documentation that you have with people going into the White House, you got nothing? Come on. Does anybody believe that? Come on, please. If you believe that they don't even have a suspect, I don't know what's wrong with you, but there's something. You got to go get yourself checked out. Dan Bongino, who is in the Secret Service, he literally protected the president of the United States like Barack Obama and others, has even come out and said this is a cover-up. There's something going on. He said that they at least have suspects, and what he thinks, or who he thinks it is, he stated in his episode this morning that he believes it's either somebody connected to Hunter Biden or it is Hunter Biden. But he said for them to, well, we don't have anybody and we're just going to close this bad boy. He says it's a bunch of foo-foo, a bunch of baloney. The federal agency made the announcement on Thursday after investigators reviewed surveillance footage and visitor logs. According to a source who spoke with NBC News, the leading theory is that someone on a tour left the illicit substance at the White House. Yeah, well, we were told that you couldn't go through that entrance of the White House where this was found without kind of basically knowing somebody in the Biden administration. Like, it's not like one of you could just walk through that door or myself without being, again, connected to somebody in the Biden administration, somebody in the press, whoever it may be. And this was also found near the Situation Room that's under construction, according to Jake Sullivan. So to get close to the Situation Room doesn't seem like, and I could be wrong, doesn't seem like a place where you and I could just kind of leisurely walk around, especially with some cocaine. Quote, the investigation will not be able to single out a person of interest from the hundreds of individuals who passed through the vestibule where the cocaine was discovered, the Secret Service said in a statement. No fingerprints or DNA were reportedly found on the bag of cocaine either. It just gets better. It's like the Epstein story, right? Where the guys like fell asleep. There was like 20 freaking jumpsuits in the guy's cell. Yeah, okay. The video camera secretly, unconvincingly just kind of turned off on itself. Oh, yeah. There was no backup footage of it. We don't got any DNA. We don't got any video evidence. We don't got any fingerprints. Nobody was around at the time. Like, come on, really? Failure on all fronts, and we're supposed to believe this? Maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. Holy lordy. NBC reported that evidence had been tested at multiple federal labs, but no usable fingerprints or DNA had been found. Okay. We'll believe you. Well, yeah, we'll believe you. We got to say it on YouTube. We believe them, right, folks? Okay. Let's just do this. Comment section time. Does anybody believe this story? Because I sure in hell don't. And it would be one thing if our government was actually credible on a lot of things. But I'll tell you what, under this Biden administration, I don't believe jack bleep that comes out of these people's mouths. Wait till we get into FBI Director Christopher Wray. He's lied multiple times. And we actually have him caught lying once again on tape. You have this going on. You have the objects being blown out of the sky across the United States. We still don't know anything about that. I mean, we don't know anything about anything from this administration, but they're the most transparent, you guys. Be careful, because according to them, they're the most transparent. You have a representative. It's hard to get through this without laughing because it's such a joke. A representative for the International Association of Identification, who knew there was such a thing, told the Daily Wire that this was not surprising that fingerprints were unable to be found. He said that the ability to pull usable fingerprints largely depended on the condition of the surface they were founded on, and the prints could easily be corrupted. Oh, okay. So this is where they pull a foo-foo and a scuffle on you. And say that we also don't have surveillance footage. So get this right here. Surveillance footage was inconclusive, according to officials. There was no surveillance video footage that produced investigative leads. What kind of like video do you have there then when you were like 480p, like 1986 style video where you can... Folks, they have satellite imagery that can zoom in on the freaking color of your toenails. You're telling me that they don't have the best of the best video surveillance in the White House to sit there and facial capture everybody to at least get a known suspect of the area and then conduct, I don't know, interviews on who was in the area? Come on, they have logs. They know everything about you of who goes in and out of that place. It's the White House. If this is true, then you got to hold to a revamping there in the Secret Service about who comes in and out of that White House, especially when you're having an illegal substance into the White House. And we'll get to it because this is not the only illegal substance that has been found. Jesus, man. No time or day for the cocaine drop has yet been identified. A former Secret Service agent who spoke with the Daily Wire previously said that this was based on where the cocaine was reportedly found, which that was all loosey-goosey too. Oh, it was found in the library. I was found in a guy's shoe. I made that part up, but it was found in a cubby. Then we were told it was found next to the Situation Room and all these other things. Oh, it was found where like everybody goes on tours, according to Karine Jean-Pierre, right? How she spun that one. Well, yeah, we just think it was kind of a random tour. Nobody was in the White House that day, but we do tours here all the time. And then the reporters were going in the White House press pool going, well, what entrance was it? Because there's only 2 entrances you can go in. Well, I just don't want to get into the details today. I don't want to get into the specifics. It's amazing how she does that. And she spun it because she knew that it's not just rando tours that can go through that entrance. I'm telling you, folks, cover up here. Cover up. Let me know what you think about that one, because it wasn't just cocaine. The Secret Service found marijuana twice in the White House in 2022. Someone's doping up, folks. Not just doing the snorty, snuffy, but now they're doing the smoky. Long before cocaine was located in the West Wing. Lovely. The Secret Service revealed the information to members of Congress during a classified briefing on the investigation into cocaine found in the West Wing over the 4th of July weekend, and confirmed the pot discoveries to Fox News Digital. Processing less than 2 ounces of marijuana is not a crime in Washington, D.C., and I personally don't care in your own life if you want to do drugs. I'm libertarian on that. It's your life. Do what you want. Just don't have it affect me. Don't smoke that stuff around me. I don't smoke drugs. I don't do drugs. I'm as clean as they come. Unless you want to have a cigar with me, then I don't know. I don't think that's drugs, but a cigar is a cigar. Whiskey's whiskey. And coffee's coffee, folks. But the substance is still not allowed on federal property. And that's a good thing, I think, including the White House. A spokesperson for the Secret Service told Fox News Digital the agents had found small amounts of the marijuana, folks, the hocus pocus, the black reefer, the Al-Qaeda is not allowed again on federal property, but these two separate occasions were in July and September of last year. Quote, no one was arrested in the incidents. Of course not. Just like in the same way, nobody's going to be arrested for snorting cocaine off their dog's back or eating Cheez-Its off a rug. That's called Hunter Biden there. We kind of sniffled up that phrase there, meaning I made it up. But I mean, he literally did do crack off the rug or a dog's ass or something like that. I can't remember. Maybe as a coke, maybe as a prostitute. I can't remember, folks, okay? But no one was arrested in these incidences, of course not, because the weight of the marijuana confiscated did not meet the legal threshold for federal charges or Washington, D.C. misdemeanor criminal charges. As the District of Columbia has decriminalized possession, the Secret Service spokesperson said the marijuana was collected by officers and destroyed. Well, whose was it? We don't know. The spokesperson told Fox News Digital that agents had found less than 0.2 ounces of marijuana in both instances and noted D.C. marijuana decriminalization. Now, I don't think it was Joe's. You guys, Joe Biden can barely stay awake as it is. You think if that guy takes a hit with marijuana, they'll probably make you a little bit sleepy, a little bit drowsy. That guy's going to be knocked out, man. No way. No way it was his. I don't even think it was Hunter. Hunter doesn't seem like a very big marijuana guy. He's a coke guy, folks. He's a coke guy. He needs his up, not a downer. Let me know what you think about that one in the comment section below. This kind of reminds me of the classified documents thing where, one set of classified documents was found, and I go, hey, do you think there's going to be 2? Then there was 2, and I was like, do you think there's going to be 3 classified documents found? There was. And then, I mean, we just came in the next day, and there was 4 classified documents found, and I was like, hell, let's just keep going. Do you think there's going to be a 5th one? Then there was 5. That one's a little goosey-loosey, but there was 5 classified documents found in terms of a succession of stories. Do you think there was more drugs found in the White House, folks? Do you think it was just marijuana? Do you think it was just cocaine? Maybe a little PCP? Maybe something else? I'm not very up on the types of drugs that are out there, but do we think there's going to be more? Folks, do you think Joe Biden's taking something? I mean, we heard rumors when he was running for president because he was looking good on the debate stage every now and then that rumors was people were saying that they saw Jill Biden doping up Joe Biden with a little bit of something, and we heard there was track marks on him. It's not from me. The media reported that. So clearly there's some sort of drugs going on in the White House because everybody's doing a little something there. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. Well, a heated exchange between Matt Gaetz and FBI Director Christopher Wray. This guy's scummy. Not Matt Gaetz. Christopher Wray's scummy. And I think this is going to really frustrate the hell out of you guys. Listen to the way this guy answers questions. And I put that in air quotes for those that listen to our podcast on audio. Because he spins it. He manipulates it. He's so slimy. If you want an example of the swamp, this is what it is. Matt Gaetz does a phenomenal job here regarding the Hunter Biden investigation, but just watch this guy. Watch this guy, Ray. This is the same guy, you guys, that said that the 1023 form, the FD 1023 form, didn't exist. And then you had Chuck Grassley going, what's this? What's this right here? I've read the damn thing. Oh, I guess it is real. That's this guy we're talking about, because this is Christopher Wray.
The American people need to understand what just happened. My Democrat colleague just asked the director of the FBI whether or not they are buying information about our fellow Americans. And the answer is, well, we'll just have to get back to you on that. It sounds really complicated. But I have other questions. I'm sitting here with my father. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Sounds like a shakedown, doesn't it, Director?
I'm not going to get into commenting on that.
You seem deeply uncurious about it, don't you? Almost suspiciously uncurious. Are you protecting the Bidens?
Absolutely not. The FBI
well,
does not and has no interest in
you won't answer the question about whether or not that's a shakedown, and everybody knows why you won't answer it. Because to the millions of people who will see this, they know it is. And your inability to acknowledge that is deeply revealing about you. But let's go from the uncurious to the downright nosy. How many illegal FISA queries have occurred under your leadership of the FBI?
Well, there are reports that have come out with different numbers about compliance incidents.
More than 1 million illegal ones? Because that's what the Inspector General said. The Inspector General said that in the 3.4 million of these queries, more than 1 million were in error. Do you have any basis to disagree with that?
That's an insane statistic. What? That's 1/3 were just found in error over 1 million? Really? What? Look, and I don't know if Matt Gaetz is going to bring this up, but I've heard that it was in the 6 figures. I've never heard of 1 million errors. I've heard of, I think it was like 200-something thousand or 250,000 or something like that in errors. You're telling me that there was a possibility of the FBI illegally doing, I guess, quote unquote, search and seizures or looking into the personal information of Americans at a level of 1/3? If you did any sort of auditing, you guys, in public companies or private or whatever, we have levels of materiality, this would blow it off the lid in terms of that.
That assessment by the Inspector General?
I'm not sure actually that's a correct characterization of the Inspector General's findings on that.
The internet will remind you of that in moments. But let's now go to what the court said. The court said it was over 200,000 that have occurred on your watch.
That makes sense. That's okay, because I've heard that number before, like 200,000, I think it was like 233 or something like that. Just under his watch. That's insane. That's an insane amount of illegal activity from the FBI. And the guy doesn't even bat an eye about it. Look at him. Look at that smirk. He didn't give two shits. He doesn't care, you guys. So corrupt. The question of the day was, do you think the FBI should be dissolved? I mean, there's good people in the FBI, and a lot of good people in the FBI, but damn, man, you had this guy, and who was the knucklehead before him? I forgot. There was like, oh, we're not going to prosecute Hillary Clinton because, well, we didn't really think she, like, did anything super bad. Just used bleach spit on her server in a freaking bathroom, transmitting secret information to people, smashing cell phones with hammers. Yeah, no, there was no intent on that, right? Just people smash their cell phones with hammers all the time. I'm sure you guys done that, right? Everybody smashes their cell phones with hammers and bleach spits their own servers if they have one. And they have, how much technology do you guys have in the bathroom, like computer technology? You just freaking running a server in your bathroom? Like, what the hell?
Do you have any basis to disagree with that assessment?
Again, I don't have the numbers I sit here
right
now. What I can
Seems like a number you should know. How many times the FBI is breaking the law under your watch? Especially if it's like over 1 million, to not know that number. And I'm worried about your veracity on the subject as well. Play the video.
Letters for investigation of the Capitol. I don't believe FISA is remotely implicated in our investigation.
So there, Senator Lee's asking you whether or not FISA was in any way involved in your January 6th investigation, and you say no. Was that truthful?
I said that I did not believe it was.
Okay, so now let's pull up what the court said, which was something a little different than what you said. So here, nope, that's not the right one. Yeah, here we go, right there. It says, the government has reported additional significant violations of the querying standard, including several relating to the January 6, 2021 breach of the Capitol. So I guess the question, Director Wray, is, did you not know when you were answering these questions that the FBI was engaging in these illegal searches, or did you perjure yourself to Senator Lee?
I certainly didn't perjure myself. At the time that I testified in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, I didn't have that piece of information. I will add...
Well, that was a court order. You didn't have that piece of information because the court hadn't yet rendered a judgment. Did you not know when you gave the untruthful answer before Senator Lee that this was going on?
It was a truthful answer. I did not believe FISA had been involved in the January 6th
But it was. So you didn't... The answer is the FBI has broken so bad that people can go and engage in queries that when you come before the Congress to answer questions, you're like blissfully ignorant. You're blissfully ignorant as to the unlawful queries. You're blissfully ignorant as to the Biden shakedown regime. And it just seems like it gets into a kind of a creepy place as well. Go to our next image on what the court said. Like, just so the American people realize, the court has smacked you down, ruling FBI personnel apparently conducted queries for improper personal reasons. People were looking themselves up. They were looking their ex-lovers up. Who has been held accountable or fired as a consequence of the FBI using the FISA process as their like creepy personal snoop machine?
Let's see. What do you guys think? 20, 50, 1,000, a big fat zero is what I'm going to say. Other people, congressmen and women, have asked the FBI or people in the Bureau and stuff like that, has anybody been fired for anything? Like anything that they've done? The answer is no. No, they haven't. They get promoted is what they do. I think it's zero.
There have been instances in which individuals have had disciplinary action and who are no longer with it. I can't get into it here, but we can follow back up with you.
But don't you see that that's kind of the thing, Director Wray, that you preside over the FBI that has the lowest level of trust in the FBI's history. People trusted the FBI more when J. Edgar Hoover was running the place than when you are. And the reason is because you don't give straight answers. You give answers that later a court deems aren't true. And then at the end of the day, you won't criticize an obvious shakedown when it's directly in front of us. And it appears as though you're whitewashing the conduct of corrupt people.
Respectfully, Congressman, in your home state of Florida, the number of people applying to come work for us and devote their lives working for us is up over 100%.
We're deeply proud of them, and they deserve better than you.
Damn. Oh, what an ending. Oh, Christopher, well, we got a lot of people coming from Florida applying to work for the FBI. And he just gives them a zinger, just a right-wing hug. Oh, baby. And it wasn't just Matt Gaetz that was laying down the law. You also have Glenn Greenwald torching Wray for failure to define disinformation. Now, if you recall, the FBI was working with these big tech companies like Twitter, and in a nutshell, telling them to censor and remove average Americans. And the FBI was claiming for the longest time, like, oh, this wasn't happening. The big tech companies were saying this wasn't happening. Conservatives, we're out here all the time saying it's happening. Like, we get our analytics behind the paywall, or not behind the paywall, but behind the screen. There's also paywall analytics as well. But we get the analytics of everything. And so you're able to, decipher and analyze the analytics, the information that's coming in, going, gee, that's a little weird. That doesn't make sense. How is it that's performing better, but this one isn't? How is that channel's performing better than this channel? But it doesn't make sense at the end of the day is what I'm getting at. So we had a lot of information going, hey, you're basically shadow banning us. You're silencing us. You're not allowing our tweets to get out there to others. And turns out that's exactly what was happening. So independent journalist Glenn Greenwald tore into Christopher Wray on Wednesday after the FBI director failed to offer a definition for the word disinformation. It's amazing because these are the same people that were utilizing the word disinformation by going after conservatives for disinformation. Let that one sink in. And they're also going after us for misinformation and whatnot. And this is why the White House wanted to put forth I don't know what you call it, a task force, let's just say, or a committee, or some sort of group of people that wanted to sit there and limit your First Amendment right to freedom of speech for whatever came out of your mouth that they deemed as hate speech, misinformation, disinformation. And by the way, that whole ideology from the Democrat Party hasn't left their mouth or their actions whatsoever. And that's why you see the state of Michigan trying to put forth a hate speech bill that will literally criminalize you for saying something that somebody deemed as making them feel unsafe or basically uncomfortable. And that will put you in prison for 5 years with a $10,000 fine. So the Democrat Party has not let up on this aspect or this thing of going after your individual freedoms or your rights. So Representative Mike Johnson posed the question during a hearing in which Wray testified before the House Judiciary Committee, which you just saw from Matt Gaetz as well, asking for a firm definition of this whole thing of what is disinformation. And do you think the guy can answer it? Let's find out.
The evidence shows your agency, the people that directly report to you, suppressed conservative-leaning free speech about topics like the laptop, the lab leak theory of COVID-19's origin, the effectiveness of masks and COVID-19 lockdowns and vaccines, speech about election integrity in the 2020 presidential election, security of voting by mail, even parody about the president himself, negative posts about the economy. The FBI made the social media platforms pull that information off the internet if it came from conservative sources. They did this under the guise that it was disinformation. Can you define what disinformation is?
What I can tell you is that our focus is not on disinformation, broadly speaking.
Well, wait a minute. Yes, it is. Wait a minute.
Can I answer the question?
You can in a minute. Your star witness said in the litigation, Elvis Chan, who's in charge of this, said they do it on the basis of disinformation. We need a definition of what that is.
Our focus is on malign foreign disinformation, that is foreign hostile actors who engage in covert efforts to abuse our social media platforms, which is something that is not seriously in dispute.
I have to stop you for time. That's not accurate. You need to read this court opinion because you're in charge of enforcing it. The court has found that And Elvis Chan testified under oath in charge of this for you. He said 50%. He had a 50% success rate in having alleged election disinformation taken down or censored. That wasn't just foreign adversaries, sir. That was American citizens. How do you answer for that?
Well, first off, I'm not sure that's a correct characterization.
Comes right out of the opinion. You should read it.
Of his testimony. But what I would say is the FBI is not in the business of moderating content or causing any social media company to suppress or censor.
That is not what the court has found.
Dude, what a freaking lie. What a liar. We know for a fact. Of course the court found him, or found what the FBI was doing as going after people. We have evidence upon evidence. Elon Musk released information after information called the Twitter files about all this stuff. I mean, Congress has done hearing after hearing on this. We know about Dan Bongino. We know about Jordan B. Peterson. We know about friggin' Tucker Carlson. Charlie Kirk. I mean, editor of the Babylon Bee, CEO of the Babylon Bee, rather, editor-in-chief of the Federalist. I mean, the names go on and on and on of who was censored. Michael Knowles, Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, others. I mean, don't give me this crap of like, oh, we weren't going after and censoring people. Yes, you were. The Hunter Biden laptop, you were saying was disinformation, misinformation, but yet you can't even identify what that is. You can't define it in the same way. Time and time again, the Democrats put forward these knuckleheads like Ketanji Brown Jackson and others that can't actually say what a woman is. I'm not a biologist. And these are the people running the show and they can't give you a simple definition. I'm not saying you need to give me the exact definition. At least give me something, but you didn't even want to answer it. Oh, we're not censoring people. Mark Zuckerberg literally came out, I think he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and said, look, yeah, the FBI reached out to us and they didn't explicitly tell us to censor this person, but in a roundabout way they did. And if the IRS shows up at your door, I understand the IRS isn't the FBI, but to give like an apples to apples comparison, if the IRS came to your door and said, hey, we probably recommend that you do this with your tax return, we recommend you do that, do you think you would probably do it? Yeah, it's the IRS. They can take everything from you. You think if the FBI showed up at your doorstep, was like, yeah, we recommend that you probably do this. Oh, you're not going to do it. We'll make your life a living hell. A little bit of threatening, right? I think you'd probably do it, right? Yeah. So they were in bed with the big tech companies, but according to Christopher Wray here, you can't define disinformation and, we weren't censoring and basically suppressing people's information. So you have this right here. I'm just going to go through a few things here for you all, where Greenwald went on to explain the nebulous nature of word and an apparent lack of a solid definition. So here we have, there's a whole array of terms that have no real fixed meaning except for however those in power decide subjectively to apply them. And on ad hoc basis, disinformation, hate speech, terrorism, their ambiguity is intentional. It's what always allows them to be abused. So you have the Hunter Biden story here from Jen Psaki. Who is that? Yeah, the circle back chick, the redhead, the previous press secretary of the Biden administration before Karine Jean-Pierre, the other nutso, got into that podium or that position. Hunter Biden's story is Russian disinfo. What's disinfo, folks? Oh, disinformation. Dozens of former intel officials say. And however one defines disinformation is beyond reasonable dispute. That the FBI has always been and continues to be one of the most prolific disseminators of it. Damn right. Damn right. That's why they're not trusted right now, folks. And the trustworthiness of that bureau is tanking. But again, the question of the day is, do you think the FBI should be dissolved? Let us know in the comment section below. Well, moving into our next story, talk about the media rubbing the shoulders of Joe Biden. You guys, it's kind of funny, but it's also mind-blowing. So MSNBC's Morning Joe co-host, Mika Brzezinski, said Wednesday that President Joe Biden's staff needed to, quote, own his age, and blasted them for not simply simplifying his schedule and ensuring he doesn't fall. Oh, it's too good. So we have a clip here. Obviously, we're going to show it to you of her talking about this whole thing.
Yeah, I think his staff needs to own his age. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think they do a good job helping out the president. And I'm not talking about it like, I'm just saying if you are managing a president's schedule and you are managing a president getting on stage and getting off stage and getting on planes and getting off planes, and yes, he's 80. You need to be there for him and you need to make a pathway. And you sure as hell better make sure he doesn't fall on a sandbag. And I blame the staff for that. I mean, these are the things that are going to hurt him. These are things that are going to be played on a loop Okay? Let him do his job. Let him do his speeches. Let him work on policy. Let him do his connections in Congress, unlike any president that we've seen. I don't know, since Clinton. But my God, make sure, your Secret Service, you're his staff, that you were there and you're telling him what's next. And it's not because, don't take this as, oh, he can't even get from one place to another. When you're busy and you're on stage, and we've been on stage, right. I've done speeches, and I'm so nervous. I'm doing the speech. I'm trying to get it right. And when it's done, I don't know which way to go. And I'm looking for direction. So do a better job. Because you can't have these video images of the president tripping or the president going the wrong way. It's not going to work in this presidency because his age is going to be a factor. His age is going to be a factor, and it's your job to make sure he gets from one place to another. He can handle the presidency. You have to handle his schedule and where he goes.
Okay. Can you guys believe that? Can you believe it? His age is a factor. You guys, there's a lot of 80-year-olds that do just fine. Donald Trump's not too far behind Joe, and Trump's doing fine. Trump doesn't fall up a flight of stairs. Trump doesn't hit a golf ball backwards. Trump is on the golf course each and every day. Trump is killing. He's doing fine. Absolutely fine. He actually went to Ohio. He had the East Palestine train derailment. You guys remember that? Guess what? Joe still hasn't shown up, and it's like 6 or 7 months later. Yeah, Joe still hasn't gone. Somebody asked actually Karine Jean-Pierre in the White House press briefing about that the other day. And I was going to show up, but I didn't. Asking, is he going to go? And she goes, well, the president made a promise, so he's going to go. When? When is the president going to go? He has a ton of time on his hands. Which brings us into our next story. Part-time president, because Joe Biden has supposedly spent almost 40% of his time on vacation, but he can't go to East Palestine to make sure Americans are okay and that the boots on the ground are doing their damn job right. Oh, no. But he'll go to Ukraine, in a war-torn country, right, where air raid sirens were miraculously going off, right, when that guy showed up but never gone off before or after, since Joe Biden actually stepped foot there. So he'll go over and make sure he takes care of everybody else. Oh, he'll take care of illegal immigrants or anybody else before actual Americans and our veterans. But he's spending almost 40% of his time as president on vacation. It's amazing. But, everybody rips into Trump for going golfing when he did, but Joe Biden can sit on the beaches of wherever the hell he's at and tan. So being president is a 24/7, 365 job. As President George Bush once told me, every morning when he arrived at the Oval Office promptly at 6:55 a.m., the world's most pressing problems were already there on his desks waiting for him. But for President Joe Biden, 80, who's strikingly fit according to some media outlets, that doesn't simply apply. The president has reportedly spent nearly 4 of 10 days during his presidency on vacation. You guys, this is a conservative number, and let me tell you why. This guy only works 4 hours a day, supposedly. And we'll give him credit. Let's just be a conservative number. He works between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., you guys. That comes from Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary before Karine Jean-Pierre. Then Karine Jean-Pierre comes out and says, well, it's more like 10 a.m. to 4. Sometimes it's noon to 4 p.m. So he's basically he's working 40% of the time. He's on vacation 50 to 60% of the time because he's napping or doing whatever, God knows what else, at the White House. But for Joe Biden, again, that doesn't apply. The president has reportedly spent, again, 4 of 10 days during his presidency on vacation. You have a picture here of shirtless Joe enjoying a relaxing day at the beach. Biden has spent 353 days, 39.2% of his presidency on vacation, the research office wrote. All the while, you're getting freaking shellacked at the gas pump, at the grocery store. China wants to invade Taiwan. Wait till we get into that, because there's a story at the end that we're going to talk about here that's freaking scary as hell, talking about World War III and a possible cyber attack coming from China and Russia with a mixture of biological warfare. We'll get into that. Just wait till that at the very, very end here, folks. But, there's no pressing issues. East Palestine still hasn't been visited. Joe Biden still hasn't figured out the border. Hasn't really figured out inflation, even though supposedly it's down close to 3% now. Down, for those that are on audio with air quotes, down. It's really up 3%. Let's see. Real estate's gone through the garbage. We still haven't figured out the gas issue. Still wants the EPA to go after average Americans as well as companies. I mean, you can name the thing. Joe Biden hasn't done anything, but he's going to make sure he tans really well. So most recently, the Bidens went to this beach mansion, marking the president's 74th trip to Delaware since taking office, his most frequent destination as president. Since taking office, Biden has spent 63 of 128 weekends in Delaware and another 27 weekends at Camp David. But he's working, you guys. He's doing everything he can. We've heard that messaging from the White House. The guy's breaking his back. He's losing sleep over it. That's Karine Jean-Pierre and Jen Psaki's words, not mine. Not mine, by the way. Biden has spent just 25 weekends, 20% in Washington, D.C. Holy hell. I'm not saying you can't go to other places and do your job, but the issue is we know Joe's not doing his job, and it shows. It shows. He can't even do his job when he's on camera. Joe Biden gets his ass kicked every time he reads from a teleprompter. The teleprompter's kicking his butt. He's never won against the teleprompter, you guys. The teleprompter's like 200-0. The teleprompter's destroyed Joe. You're telling me this guy's getting work done in other places? I don't think so. I don't think so. The RNC chairwoman said Biden headed for Delaware beaches even after the worst jobs report of his presidency because he doesn't care. But remember, Joe Biden cares about your table kitchen issues or whatever the hell they call it. Tabletop issues. You know, they've rephrased it different ways. He doesn't care. I mean, Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and this guy's on the beaches of freaking Normandy tanning. And by Normandy, I'm kidding. It goes with the philosophy of you're leaving the trenches taking grenades, John. Joe Biden's leaving you in the trenches taking grenades, you guys. He doesn't care crap about your family. He doesn't even know who you are. But he'll say he does. Biden tries to downplay his failures, but Americans know Bidenomics is to blame for high prices and falling savings. Not according to Karine Jean-Pierre in the White House. They think Bidenomics is great. Joe Biden didn't know what Bidenomics was, you guys. He heard about it on television. Why? Because he was probably sleeping or on vacation while everybody else was working and doing his job for him. Makes you wonder who's in the White House and actually pulling the strings of all this. You know, it ain't Kamala Harris. She ain't smart enough, you guys. She can't even she's smart enough to get a full sentence out of her mouth, let alone Joe Biden to get a full sentence out of his mouth. I mean, did you notice that, you guys? Like, from the top down, nobody seems to get a coherent thought out. Whether it's freaking Joe Biden himself, Kamala Harris, any of the cabinet members, Karine Jean-Pierre in a White House press secretary briefing, John Kirby, Jake Sullivan, Anthony Blinken. I mean, you name it. It's like everybody there can't get a freaking coherent thought out or actually tell you the truth. Christopher Wray of the FBI, DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. I mean, you name it. You can't get any information out of them. They don't know what the hell's going on. They don't have any information about anything. And our country's fallen apart from the inside out. So speaking of falling apart from the inside out, California's fallen apart from the inside out. I hope you guys are sitting down for this story because I heard this on the radio. And I apologize for not having a show yesterday, but I had to go to a work meeting. And so the work meeting was kind of far. And so I always listen to the radio, listen to AM 640. And they were talking about this California bill that Democrats blocked that had to do with child trafficking. You guys, this is so insane what I'm about to read to you. I don't even have words to describe it. Check this out. It's disgusting. It's it's like worse than swampy. It's actually evil. It's so gross. Democratic members of the California Assembly Committee on Public Safety blocked a bill on Tuesday that would have made child trafficking a serious felony. Let that sink in, you guys. They blocked a bill that would have made child trafficking a felony. No, we don't want it to be a felony. Under California law, serious felonies are subject to the state's 3 strikes law. If the measure had passed, repeat offenders would have faced harsher penalties, including up to life in prison. They're okay. You guys, it's the same philosophy of just allowing somebody to do a crime over and over again and not giving 2 bleeps about it. Oh, you just shoplift? Oh, you just robbed a guy at gunpoint? No, it's fine. No cash bail. Just go out and do it again. Not a big deal. Now we don't have the three penalties for that. Oh, you child trafficked more than once. Oh, good. Let's let you out again. Deal with it later. You did it 2 times. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Yeah, 3 times. Oh, wow. Look at you, big guy, trafficking children. Not a big deal. That's how the Dems think about all this. Do you know it's not Republicans doing this crap? Like any of the stuff we talk about, or whether drugs find in the White House, the disinformation, misinformation on trying to suppress freedom of speech of Americans, or going after American Second Amendment rights, sex trafficking, child trafficking, illegal immigration. You know, it's not Americans that are exacerbating these problems or making it worse. You notice that? It's the Democrats, not Republicans. Currently, traffickers who target underage victims are eligible for early release credits based on behavior, which could take years off their sentencing, you guys. Republican members voted in support of the Senate Bill 14 this week. All 6 Democrat members, all of them, refused to vote on the measure, blocking its passage. Meaning, the approach they took was they technically didn't say no. I believe they abstained from it. Meaning they just didn't vote on it. And the reason why they do that is going, well, we didn't say no. We just actually didn't vote on the whole thing. It's virtually saying no at the end of the day. Human trafficking victims in the audience on Tuesday during the vote responded with sobs. Horrible. You're horrible. They cried out to Democrat lawmakers. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Well, I'll tell you what, those people better not vote for Democrats again, because this is what you get. You get crime. You get all sorts of things, illegal immigration. You get American citizens being now secondhand citizens, where illegal immigrants and others that aren't citizens in the United States get treated better than actually you do. You're seeing it in real time, folks. They want criminals to be treated better than actual law-abiding citizens. Republican State Senator Shannon Grove told KCRA TV that she was surprised by the outcome of the vote. I'm not. You gotta, lady, really? You're surprised by the Democrats siding with criminals? Really? You're in California. They literally passed measures to take care of criminals. Are you kidding me? Considering several Democrat members told her it was a good bill and said they would consider it. That's a fun way of saying, nah, yeah, we'll consider it. Yeah, right. But there is an issue of rolling the chair. So I don't think anyone was going to stand up against the chair, Grove added, referring to Assembly Public Safety Committee Chairman Reggie Jones-Sawyer, who's a Democrat, by the way. Jones-Sawyer did not vote in favor of the measure because he claimed it failed to address the root of the problem. Dude, progress is progress. I mean, what? A lot of things that politicians push through don't actually solve the root problem. They can easily do it, and they don't. There's a lot of things that would solve the root problem for illegal immigration, but I would take some progress over none. I'm profoundly disappointed. I'm trying to keep my composure here. I am profoundly disappointed that committee Democrats couldn't bring themselves to support the bill. With their stubborn and misguided objection to any penalty increase regardless of how heinous the crime is. You can pass a note to a bank and rob a bank. You can commit arson, and that's considered a serious felony. But to traffic a minor child in the state of California, it's not a big deal. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Arson, heck, robbing a bank. I mean, it sounded like I was joking before, right? About all that. No. Satire is real life now. Satire is real. So you could literally rob a bank or just light a building on fire and commit arson. But to traffic a minor, which the average age of a minor that's being trafficked is about 10 years old. In the state of California, it's not. California is the most child trafficked state in the entire country, by the way. And who runs this show, guys? Oh, let me know. Who runs the show in California? Democrats across the board run the show. Of course they do. Of course they do. That's why you have crime in Democrat-ran areas, Democrat localities, and cities. Everywhere where Democrats ran, you have things just going down the drain. Well, speaking of things going down the drain, folks, objective truths. Men are men and women are women. That's no longer a thing anymore, folks, because in a post-truth world, men win. Wow, I can't even say it. Men win Miss America or Miss Netherlands. So this is sparking outrage on Twitter. A dude won a girls' pageant. Remember when Caitlyn Jenner or, Bruce Jenner won Woman of the Year? Dude hadn't even been a woman for an entire year and he won Woman of the Year. Men are better being women than actual women are at being women. Let that one sink in. Holy crap, I'm trying to get through this without crying. I mean, look, this is the world we live in, you guys. We live in an ass backwards world. Holy crap. So a 22-year-old man beat out 9 women. Oh my God. People think because I laugh so hard that I'm faking it. This is real. This is who I laugh at everything, you guys. I hold in a lot of this crap. If you knew me in real life, I literally laugh at everything. It comes across as fake. I get it, but oh my God, it's real. So this dude beat out 9 women to attain the title of Miss Netherlands on Saturday, sparking outrage on social media as many users said, the win showed we are experiencing a trend of erasing women. Yes, for quite some time. Oh my God. The Miss Netherlands competition is part of Miss Universe. And this is the 72nd Miss Universe pageant in El Salvador later this year. Or will compete, rather. Forgive me. A man just won Miss Netherlands 2023 Dutch commentator Eva. Can any of you pronounce that last name? Vladinger Broke. I have no idea. I'm sorry. If you're on audio, folks, I can't pronounce that name. Considering the fact that we live in a post-truth world, I wasn't even expecting anything else. It's all so predictable and unoriginal at this point. Yes, you're absolutely correct. I have nothing really to add to it other than the fact it's hilarious now that we're literally having men in women's pageants and they're beating out actual women now at this point. It's astonishing that the feminists think that they're doing justice, but the feminists nowadays are actually just ruining actual feminism and helping progress women up. If anything, they're degrading what it means to be a woman, but they can't even define what a woman is in the first place, which is even just more degrading to the fact of what a woman is and what women are and who women should be. I guess now you guys are competing against men, supposedly. I don't know. Well, in competition, Hollywood's not even competing with itself anymore, and that's why there's a double strike looming where the Screen Actors Guild, the union, which I'm a part of, is wanting to ask their 160,000 members to hop on board with the writers, which is going to, in a nutshell, just basically bring Hollywood down altogether. I mean, this is not a good thing, folks, for Hollywood. So you have the writers on strike, and they're kind of demanding certain things. I don't know the specifics of what they're demanding, other than the fact of obviously more pay. And their residuals are garbage if you're a writer, just to be honest. They are garbage, and there needs to be a reworking of their contract. I'm fully agree on that. The AI thing I think is a little bit interesting, and I don't know enough about the artificial intelligence because you have ChatGPT rolling out. ChatGPT 5 is supposed to come out in December, supposedly, and that's supposed to do everything a human being can do, from even being creative to creating art. And so if you have an AI that can develop information and the best stories you've ever heard faster and more efficiently than an actual human being can, you just lost your job. In the same way how Photoshop came out with this beta and you could remove anything out of a picture and replace it with something else or extend a photo, and you just destroyed an entire industry. In the same way, you're going to see ChatGPT 5 probably destroy entire industries in terms of data analysts or statisticians in some places, coding. So this has huge ramifications in terms of industries, and I think they have a right to bring awareness to it because, heck, that's their job. You can't do that whole thing of when a whole industry was depleted before, and there was that saying called learn the code, because now you can't tell somebody to learn the code because an AI is going to do it better than you are. So there's a strike going on, a double strike. I'm curious on what you guys think about it, because if they can't come to a deal, I mean, Hollywood, it will be, in a nutshell, shut down, right? Because you had the directors, I believe, went on strike recently. They got what they wanted. You have the writers now on strike in conjunction with the actors, the Screen Actors Guild, which is like the main guild. So, I mean, what are you going to do? A bunch of non-union work, I suppose? Non-union, obviously those that aren't part of the union, writing and acting, maybe. I don't know. I mean, Hollywood will be shut down, but this strike is going to have huge ramifications. There needs to be a reworking of the industry. You have Bob Iger of Disney, in a nutshell, saying, look, their demands are too much. I mean, they're asking for something that's unreasonable, according to his words. Bob Iger's contract, by the way, from Disney was extended for, I think, another 2 years or another 4 years or something like that. I think it's a right move by Disney. I think Bob Iger has definitely a vision, and he's created a big thing in Disney, but Disney's fallen apart. And this isn't necessarily part of the show, but I do want to add into a little bit of this whole Disney aspect, is reading about Bob Iger and what he said in his recent interview regarding, slowing up on the production of Star Wars and Marvel and releasing so many films because they're all bombing. I mean, the last 8 films have lost Disney about $1 billion or more. That tells me they haven't realized the actual problem. The actual problem is what you're producing. I mean, look what they did to Star Wars. Look what they did to Indiana Jones, which is my favorite franchise. I never gave a review on it, but I went and saw it opening night, like the midnight showing. Saw it at 10 p.m. They basically did to Indiana Jones what they did to Luke Skywalker. How they presented, and some people will disagree with this, how they presented Indiana Jones was not Indiana Jones. Like, the stuff that they included in that film was mind-blowing. Some parts were right. They definitely it wasn't like a total bomb. I wasn't a big fan of the film. I wasn't like overhyped about it when I saw it, but the way they portrayed that character, they're destroying what men are in movies. And they're destroying men, and they're destroying what is objective truth in favor of this LGBTQ, IRS, elemental P, alphabet soup community. And it's okay to have gay people and stuff in films. That's not what I'm saying. You have to do it in moderation. And I was actually watching John Wick 3, because I'm trying to progress through the films, the other night. I think it was John Wick 2, actually, because they had the actor Common on there, or a rapper Common or something like that. And he was fighting Keanu Reeves. And I was sitting there going, it's amazing how you can have another person that's black with a white person like Keanu Reeves, and you don't have to force it down somebody's throat that there's a black man that's fighting, doing martial arts, big actor, doing a great job, but not like emphasizing it. You know what I mean? It's just there. It flows naturally. In the same way you saw the movie Maverick, where there was a diverse cast. It wasn't thrown in your face that there was a woman fighter pilot, there was a Hispanic fighter pilot, there's a black fighter pilot. It was just there. And you expect the military to be diverse, because all sorts of facets of American life, of people and how they grew up and the different areas they grew up, are going to go into the military. So it's not thrown in your face. It's just there. But what Disney does is they make it a point to talk about police brutality. They'll make it a point to talk about how racist America is. They'll make it a point to talk about how black people are oppressed by white people and systemic racism and all. Like, they'll make it a point in their writing, in their direction, and who they cast, to shove it down your throat left and right, and people have enough of it. And how does that correlate to Bob Iger? Because he hasn't recognized the problem. The problem's in his staff. The problem's in the executives. The problem is those that are in the hierarchy of Disney are going to drive that company into the ground. You could cut cost all you want, man. You can cut cost all you want, and you haven't realized the problem yet. The problem is the inside. You want to cut cost? Cut those that are destroying your country well, that too, but your company from the inside out. That's what you need to do, but he won't listen. Disney is so far gone, it is head spinning, you guys. I've come to the realization of this probably within the past few weeks. When I first went to the park again, and I saw a trans person chauffeuring people around and going, Walt would not have agreed with this. Walt would not want this of people. I'm not going to go any further because I got to be careful with YouTube, but I think you understand what I'm saying here. Hollywood needs to figure it out, and I think Hollywood's in for a big realization that Americans just haven't had enough of their crap at the end of the day. Let me know what you think about that. We're going to end off here with a little bit of fun and a little bit of seriousness. I can't pull up the article itself. There's a few things going on, and I think it's building up to something big that the government knows, but we don't know. And so this is a little bit of kind of Supernatural Saturday mixture in with real world crap. So there's a clip here with Marco Rubio being asked by Hannity about UFOs. I'll get to what I think is going on in a moment and how it's all going to come to a head. But let's hear from Marco Rubio talking about UFOs real quick.
There have been a lot of articles lately about UFOs. I know this question is a little out there. Is there any truth to any of this?
Well, we don't know. All I've said is we have people that have very high clearances, both today and in the past, who did really important work for our government or continue to do important work for the government, who have come forward with some claims about the U.S. having in the past recovered exotic materials and then reverse engineered those materials to make advances in our own defenses and technologies. That's the claim they make. Now, I don't know if those claims are true or not. What I do know is that one of two things is happening here. Either they're telling the truth, and that is something that obviously would be the biggest story in human history, or we have people in really important positions of government who are crazy and who are out there making up stories and who are still in positions of importance. Either one is a big problem. So we've got to figure out which one of these two it is, because the second one in particular would be very troubling. But we don't. All we know is claims that people have made. These are credible people that have done and continue to do important work for the country. And by law, we're required when they come forward as whistleblowers to take their claims seriously and to investigate them. But we just don't know. That's the answer.
I'm hearing stories of all sorts of stuff about this UFO stuff where I forgot the guy's name. He was the reporter that interviewed David Grush, who was the recent whistleblower about the UFOs, that we have the craft and stuff like that. He was on a podcast and he was asked by another guy of going, well, you're saying you have 6 months, these private companies and corporations, to release what they have about the technology that they've obtained. And the podcaster said, well, doesn't that just give them 6 months to hide their crap? Which that's what I was thinking. And the reporter, he's a renowned reporter, forgive me for not remembering his name, said, some of these craft are so big that you actually can't move it. And this goes in line with Dr. Greer saying some of these craft are encased in a building that surrounds it. And it's so big that you can't physically move it. You can't chop it up. You can't move it. So they're kind of screwed, because there's rumors out there and there's allegations saying that these corporations like Raytheon or like Lockheed Skunk Works that they're trying to get rid of this technology so that they don't get in trouble at the end of the day. This is kind of what all different whistleblowers are saying. And so others like Dan Bongino are saying, well, they believe this is Chinese technology. I don't think so. No way in hell. And the reason why I come to that conclusion is because if you look at the Chinese military, they were like bragging the fact that they got like a second aircraft carrier. Like it was like a huge deal for the Chinese to have like a second or third aircraft carrier. Like you're telling me that if they can't build aircraft carriers, like they're going to build some sort of technology that we've never seen before. Furthermore, that was a little bit of the supernatural. Now we're going to get into more of the real crap. The Wall Street Journal came out with an opinion piece. I wasn't able to read it because I don't subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, but I'll kind of paraphrase. There's been a lot of stories, allegations, rumors about the Chinese and the Russians unleashing both a cyber attack on the United States as well as biological warfare, releasing a virus. And how supposedly it's going to work, if it is true, is that the Chinese have gathered enough information to know our communication systems, where they are, and what is our infrastructure in terms of our intelligence, and that they will first hit those and drop our entire communication systems. And then when everything's depleted, they will unleash a virus into the United States. And at that point, it's game over. And there's already been studies done on how long it will take to basically wipe out the West, meaning United States specifically. And it was a matter of months, you guys. It wasn't anything crazy. Like the majority of Americans would be killed if something like that were to happen, just based on starvation, disease, and others. And the reason why that's also important is because you got to ask yourselves, are you prepared for something like that to happen? Do you have the necessary equipment? Do you have those survival, I don't want to say techniques, but the survival packages like food? Do you have charcoal? Do you have flint, stuff to light things? Because something like that, it is possible of happening, you guys. And you are hearing a lot of rumors about this stuff, and it kind of spooked me a little bit of those types of things happening, because there were rumors that there was going to be a cyber attack happening in this month, actually, in either a couple days or a week or so. So we will see what develops and happens of it. But it does seem, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'm curious on what you guys think, and this is a very serious question. Do you guys think we're coming to a point here? Because it almost feels like we are. A lot of things right now, to me, feel like they are being not suppressed. That's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to think of the word. They are being, it's kind of a facade. Like we're making it seem like everything's okay when we're not okay. A lot of transportation issues, a lot of banking issues right now, economy issues, global economy. There's a lot of things that I feel like are either teetering or they're about to drop off the cliff. And I think we're about to hit a point here with China, with Russia, with the world. And I want to know what you think. Is that just an alarming thing? Because I'm not trying to be an alarmist or an extremist or anything like that. I really am curious on if you are feeling kind of the same thing I am. And I could just be feeling that because I read all the news all the time and I'm reading different headlines and rumors and stuff from different places. I'm really curious if you're feeling kind of the same thing I am in terms of something's there. I don't know what it is, and I feel like the government knows what it is, and they're not telling us, and it's about to kind of hit. Whether that's the idea of AI, and this is a conspiracy theory, this is kind of my idea. The AI is reaching its point here by the end of this year to where at the same time, all this UFO information's coming out at the same time. This is going so far into it. The idea is there's AI that's increasing at the same time. AI is supposed to take over, 70% of jobs. It's supposed to unleash ideas and information we've never seen before as a human species. And it's supposed to solve a lot of mathematical problems. It's supposed to solve our clean energy issues. It's supposed to solve all those other things. Where does the UFO part come in? Well, according to David Greer, Dr. Greer, I keep calling him David Greer. I think his name is just, go with Dr. Greer. Lou Elizondo, all these people, Marco Rubio and others, are saying that these craft or these beings, whatever you want to say, have technology, and the government, in conjunction with these private companies like Lockheed Skunk Works, Raytheon, and others, have technology that could basically revolutionize our society in the matter of a year. And that you'd actually be able to pull energy from the fabric of space and time, kind of Nikola Tesla idea. And supposedly he actually developed it. I don't know for sure. But what I'm pointing at is that all this seems like to be coming to a head. And my theory is, were they planning on, yes, slowly releasing all this technology that Raytheon Lockheed Skunkworks has, but going to contribute it to, oh, well, we had AI in the back end this entire time, and AI was helping us develop this technology that we could slowly release to the public. For example, if you look at like a GPS that we utilize in our cars, the military, the U.S. government has had that years before we ever got it as a consumer. And so I'm thinking about it in the same way as AI. Does the government have AI, and their hope was that we're going to diminish the idea of aliens and UFOs and correlate it to artificial intelligence, releasing this information slowly, that it was actually AI that was developing the things, not UFOs? I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I explained it well, but it's kind of a little fun little tidbit to talk about and kind of not freak the hell out of everybody in terms of World War III with the Russian and the Chinese unleashing a freaking virus and a freaking cyber attack on us. But we kind of spiraled off there at the end, getting into conspiracy theories, UFOs, and all that fun stuff. But hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Do you think we're going to have World War III? Do you think the FBI should be dissolved? Do you think Joe Biden is off his rocker? Anything you want in the comment section does support the show. Again, folks, we have custom-made shirts. Designed it myself. I'm not wearing it today, but we got the shirt here. It says American Patriot on it. Ball Bradshaw on the bottom. Liberty or death. That's an American Patriot right there, folks. But yeah, head over to ballbrad.com. We got mugs. We got it all. Membership is the important one as well. With that being said, folks, I'll see you tomorrow here on the Ball Brad Show.